All right, we're going to move into our first topic. We got a couple of movie reviews. Let's talk about Spiral.
All right.
From the Book of Saw. Available now on digital. I think you can go see it in theaters. Wouldn't recommend it.
Wouldn't recommend paying for it.
Only a real scumbag wouldn't pay for it. But this is from director Darren Lynn Bousman, who is familiar with the Saw franchise. He directed Saw 2, 3, and 4. So he's got some experience with the Saw franchise. And it's starring Chris Rock, Max Minghella, Marisol Nichols, and the great Samuel L. Jackson.
Had no idea about that, by the way.
He was in the first trailer that came out, man.
I don't know. I drink a lot.
I get that. So anyways, Brian, yeah, Spiral from the Book of Z. Can't say I disagree with you. But no, this is I don't want to say it's a reimagining. It's a sequel of sorts. It's a spinoff. Reboot? Yeah, maybe a reboot. Yeah, Tone, I'm going to come to you first because we have an interesting perspective on this movie and the other movie. It's going to be kind of a neat conversation. But Tone, your thoughts? You're first and foremost.
Yes,
you're a Saw guy.
I like the Saw movies.
You enjoy all the Saw movies. You are a Saw fan.
Right. I'm probably not a Saw connoisseur. Like I know I've got
Zach Dynamite is a huge. He talked to me on Twitter the other day. He's a huge Saw guy.
Is he? So there, because I was gonna say there are people out there that are like super connoisseurs and super fans of the series. I enjoy them. I think they're fun. And it's not news to anybody here, but I love gore.
Yep.
And like seeing people's like getting mutilated and shit like that.
Gets off on it.
Kind of gets off on it. Yeah. So it is what it is, right? Like that's kind of one of my things. Big whoop, fight about it. But honestly, I was really excited about it because again, here we got another comedian, well-known comedian doing
stand up,
doing some serious shit, and I'm like. We've seen some great transitions. I'm always hip to that. And I thought for the most part, besides you made some good points about his constant demeanor a couple times, even though the movie was overall kind of real meh, I felt like I want to see Chris Rock in a role where he's actually able to be with a good story and good dialogue.
My understanding is, and I haven't seen it, but he had a lot of high praise for his performance in the Fargo series. He was in Fargo, and I guess he got a lot of acclaim for his performance there.
The movie?
No, the TV series.
Did I not see that series?
I don't know if it was the most recent one or whatnot, but he's been on there, and he got a lot of acclaim for it.
I saw a couple seasons of that. I wonder if I'm missing a season with him in it. That's great to hear, because the Fargo series, like of the seasons I've seen, are really fucking really good. The movie takes place in the Saw universe. Clearly, Jigsaw has been gone. Somebody decides to pick up the mantle. Who's doing it? Why is he doing it? Listen, overall, I told dude the first 20 minutes, I already figured out who the killer was. It wasn't overall a big secret, I felt like, because the movie was really predictable. It was a letdown, a lot of points. He's going to bring up a lot of the actual points with his notes and stuff like that. There's a lot of things I do agree with him on. I will say this at the end of the day, though. As predictable as it was, the gore, the puzzles and everything like that, not puzzles, I guess, really, but whatever was going on were awesome. I really enjoyed them. Matter of fact, Prime Didact or Atomic, King Cuddles, any of you guys that have watched Letterkenny will know that the first gentleman you see in the movie is none other than fucking McMurray, that piece of shit McMurray, which I thought was completely funny just to even randomly see him in a serious role.
He gets pieced out in a pretty cool way.
Yeah, that was awesome. I didn't hate the movie. Like, it was enjoyable in a weird way that I'm just like, I guess it was just because it was a Saw movie.
Sure.
It was not. Listen, I'm not going to tell anybody to watch it. I'm not going to tell you definitely spend money on it. I'm not going to tell you to expect anything out of it. I just know that if you like the Saw movies, you might get some enjoyment out of it. I got enjoyment out of it. I was actually, for some fucking reason, I was very involved in the movie. Like it kept me and I was hooked. It just overall was a meh movie, and I can recognize the fact that the movie wasn't great at all, but I still found some enjoyment in it, and I like that universe. But it's just a disappointment because the characters and the story, even the dialogue was just not good, and even some of the just the head scratching, like why would you why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense. Is what it is. So.
There's a lot of lapses of in this movie. There's a lot of issues I have with this movie. I am not a Saw guy. I've seen Saw 1, and I actually really liked Saw 1. And then I saw Saw 2, and I was like, I don't think I like this anymore. Because I thought Saw 2 was really just kind of like shit. It didn't have the smarts of the first one. The first one had a real clever twist. It was like, holy shit, that's awesome. But then after the second one, I was like, okay, I can see where this series is headed now. I get it, and that's cool. Gore porn is awesome. That's great. People love watching people get maimed and mutilated. That's hot.
Hellraiser.
I get it. Okay, I get it. But much like Mortal Kombat, when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, ooh, this looks fucking good.
The trailer really gets you kind of hyped for it.
This looks really good. I was like, man, this could be a good idea. I know my understanding is that Chris Rock had a hand in pitching this movie, and I was like, man, this could be really fucking good. The trailer's fucking dope. And you go into this movie, and it's just a goofy fucking flick with a weird story, poor direction, and just overall execution. Tone mentioned the predictability of it. There's a moment in the movie where we won't get. I don't give a fuck if it's spoilers, but I just won't do it. Where something doesn't happen that happens with every other encounter, and immediately you know that's the bad guy or girl. Okay, that's the killer. And I didn't even. When it happened at the end, dude, this movie does as much as it can. It works so hard to try to get you to think who done it.
It really does try hard.
Is it this person?
It really does.
It might be this person.
Right.
But at that one point in the movie where something happens, you're just like, there's the killer. I know who it is.
Which is a shame because in the serious
so
parts,
stupid.
like even like the cop and the guy at the door and all that how that all set up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the like the dirty cop thing that was going on in some of those areas and some of that background story and some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that stuff was really good and intriguing. Like it felt like they were good pieces to the puzzle, no pun intended. But overall, the entire puzzle was still missing pieces. It just didn't work overall.
Yeah, and you know, for somebody that appreciates the first Saw, like I really enjoyed it. I was like, man, hopefully there's a good twist with this. Hopefully there's a good twist, and it's a smart twist. Had they not fucked it up early on in the movie, we were like, oh, I know who it is. I know who it is. Yeah, it's easy to figure out. And every time they tried showing you somebody else or making you think, I was like, get the fuck out of here. I know who it is, and it was. And then, you know, in terms of like the head-scratching moments, there is a point in this movie where I was just like, okay, now they're just trying to connect the dots and make this ending work. And there's a part where I don't give a fuck if it's a spoiler. It's the dumbest thing in this movie. The captain of this police force goes down into the basement to the cold case room to find some files to kind of piece together what's going on. The captain, she's armed. She has a gun, okay? And she's getting set up in a trap. And she goes into the cold case room. Nobody else is in there. But when she walks in, there's the killer with the pig mask standing right there. The captain, who has a gun, turns around, runs to the door screaming help. The door shuts. She pulls out her gun, shoots the big-ass metal door. You are a fucking cop. You have a gun. There's the killer. Why doesn't she just pull out the gun and say freeze? And when he tries to do something, throw his smoke grenades, she just loads them, just shoots them. You know why? Because that would be credits. We got to make this fucking ending work. That was the single dumbest fucking moment of this movie.
I didn't even think about that.
Dude, the reaction was like, what is she, a fucking civilian? What is she got, a BB gun?
Yeah.
I was like, come on, dude. You could have set this up way different to make her more vulnerable, not walk in there and run away from the dude in the pig mask. She has a gun. Like, come on, dude. That was that. At that point, I was like, okay, this movie sucks. This movie sucks. And then they get to the ending, and it's lame. Sam Jackson's in this movie for about 5-6 scenes. His character's underdeveloped. His relationship with Chris Rock is weak as fuck. He's his father, for Christ's sakes, and there's no development there, other than to make him a possible suspect. Is it Sam Jackson? He's there to say motherfucker, and he does it well. No, I'm going to give Sam Jackson the credit where credit is due. He says motherfucker, and he says it like a champ.
Remember, he said years ago he'll pretty much do anything for a check.
And this was proof.
Yeah.
This was proof. And then in terms of like Chris Rock, I like Chris Rock. You know, we've seen he's got talent to get outside of like stand-up comedy and doing comedies. He's a talented actor. But this movie, I'm going to go blame the direction because the direction seems to be the problem here. But basically all you get are two emotions out of Chris Rock. Screaming at the top of his lungs and this. Squinty, skeptical eyes.
Yeah. And half time he couldn't see because he had the glasses on.
He's squinty. No, he's unsure. I was like, okay, this is so bad. Like, he's completely wasted in this movie. And I'm going to go back to the director, Darren Lynn Bousman. I'm going to say this is the problem. They're trying to make a smart Saw movie. They're trying to reboot it. They're trying to make it something different than the original Saw movies, which was all about the gore porn. It was all about the gore. And I will say the gore, some of the kills that I've seen on, like highlights, I go through YouTube and I'll be, hey, or my brother, hey, what's the best kill? And he'll show me a clip of like one of the best kills in the other Saw movies. None of the kills in this movie even come close to the shit that I've seen in the other Saw movies. They're gross, okay? They're violent, they're horrific, but at the same time, you're just like, this is just meh. So you don't have like the amazing kills. You don't have a fucking twist. And you got this movie, and I told Tone, this is like the movie Seven if it sucked. That's what this is. It's the movie Seven if it sucked. It tries to be smart, it tries to be twisty, and it fucking fails on all fronts. It's a bad movie. It's not a good movie.
Is that a pun? Twisty?
It's yeah, it was disappointing. It was disappointing as fuck. And based on what we saw from the trailer, it was a major letdown. It was a major letdown. And this is one of the movies I had little interest in the Saw movies going in. And this movie doesn't change my interest in the movies. I will not. I mean, hopefully they're able to do something with the sequel. It's set up for that, obviously. But I don't know, dude. Like, I just feel like this is one of those franchises, much like the next one we're going to talk about. I feel like time to move on.
Yeah, overall.
But, and not to cut you off. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I talked to Zach Dynamite on Twitter today. As a fan of the Saw movies, he fucking loved it. He loved it. And that's who these people are. Those are the folks that these movies are geared towards. And I don't have an issue with anybody who liked this movie, especially if you're a fan of Saw. Awesome. Just a different mindset. And it's kind of like how we're going to talk about The Conjuring here in a minute. Tone's a Saw guy. He enjoyed the movie for what it was. It is what it is.
I can still recognize it sucked. Yeah. But don't get me wrong.
Me, I like,
it wasn't great. Yeah.
When I look at the original Saw and then I compare it to this one, this movie sucks. It sucks. It's just, I couldn't get into it at all. I thought this was just terribly weak, and there were just so many scenes where I was like, what the fuck are these people doing?
Yeah, if you're a Saw fan of the series, watch it. You might enjoy it.
Brian says, if you're a fan of Saw, then you're a part of the problem.
Come on.
It's on you, Tone. If you enjoyed this movie, that's on